Hi everyone, this is Clint from Persuasive Evangelism, and today we're going to go over this book, Lights in the Skies and Little Green Men by Hugh Ross, Kenneth Samples, and Mark Clark. So I've been reading a lot of Hugh Ross's books this year. He's an astrophysicist, and he's a Christian, and he talks about God and science and the Genesis and so on. So I was listening to a podcast recently, and he mentioned they were talking about aliens and his opinions on it. And then he mentioned he wrote a book about it, which I didn't realize he did. So I thought, I have to read it. I thought it'd be a fun book to read. Basically, his opinions as a Christian, a scientist on aliens. So I picked up this book. I believe it came out in 2001. And there's 3 authors. Each one writes different chapters in the book about different topics. So UFOs stand for unidentified flying objects. And then with pop culture, it's more identified with flying saucers, aliens and alien ships, something like this. I got this recently at a secondhand store. It's an alien from Independence Day in the mid 90s. It's one of the aliens, and there's a little alien inside of it that controls the main alien. So this is what we think of as UFOs and so on. These aliens flying, different types of aliens flying spacecraft. It goes over tons of topics. It goes over like the history of the UFOs, Roswell, government conspiracies, their government programs about like Project Blue Book and all that. And then it talks about one little part I thought was interesting, like that movie Close Encounters of the Third Kind. I never knew what that meant, but it talks about the different close encounters. So Close Encounters of the First Kind is the UFO is sighted at a close range within 500 feet of the observer, but it does not affect or interact with the witness or the environment. Close Encounters of the Second Kind, the UFO leaves physical effects on the environment, scorched ground, broken tree limbs, signs of radiation, and may even cause power failure. Close Encounters of the Third Kind, the living occupants of the craft are seen by witnesses, however, no communication or further contact takes place. This kind of encounter always happens at night and usually with only 1 or 2 observers. Close Encounters of the Fourth Kind, direct contact occurs between aliens, beings, and the witness, apparently taken aboard a spacecraft, abducted, and interacts with the spacecraft's occupants. Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, the observer suffers permanent physical injuries or death. So I never know those were the different types of encounters. It talks about the history, but then they talk about the odds of actual being other alien life in the universe. We've grown up with science fiction, Star Trek, Star Wars, where there's advanced life on almost every planet they go to. But they talk about of course God could create, life on different planets. But they talk about the fine-tuning of, the universe, galaxy, but the Earth. There's so much fine-tuning for life to exist. From the size of the Earth, magnetic field, where it's located in the galaxy. So there's all these fine-tunings, and that would have to happen where life could exist, and it would have to stay, that stable for life to exist and continue. Also, it talks about not only for life to exist, but for advanced life to flourish in a high technology society. Like the Earth is rich, is a rich planet of minerals, metals, all that's needed, fuel, and so on. So, the odds get very small for another planet like that in the universe. But then, even if there was an advanced civilization with the technology that could travel, physical objects can't go faster than light speed. It has to go a lot slower, and the energy it takes, the faster you go, the bigger like the engines and stuff you need. and the distances between the stars are so massive. So they're talking about, the faster you go, like a little teensy small object, like a little pebble, could just totally destroy your ship. So you need more like energy for shields. And then the bigger the ship you need, the mass to go that fast, you need even more energy. But I mean, just massive amount. And and the distances, even the close, I forgot what it said, like the nearest star is like 20,000 light years away or whatever. But so if it's even farther, 50,000 light years away or more, and you can, that doesn't mean you can go in a straight line to Earth. You'd have to avoid stars, supernovas, asteroids, comets, and all that. So it take, thousands of years just to get here. And then it would talk about, so if it's in a ship, that ship would start breaking down, and then if it takes, let's say it takes 20,000 years to get here, from the distances, not only does the ship start breaking down, the danger, you're going to hit something, fuel supplies, and then it also talks about, the lifespan of the creatures, the ones that originally left, may died off, and then the next generation, what are they forced to continue going forward? So just the odds of another advanced society where they could actually travel, and then it's so far away, they're saying the odds are so small. And then so then it goes over the actual UFO sightings. Most of them can be explained, whether it's a hoax, fraud, aircraft, satellites, and comets, stars, asteroids, shooting stars, or some weather phenomenon. But it goes through all the different things that people have mistaken for UFOs. But then you get to a small percent that's unexplained. So then they talk about that. So if it's really, if it's not like a fraud or something really unexplained, they call those UFOs RUFOs, Roofos, and that stands for residual UFOs. So the ones that can't be explained, that small effect. So then they look at those, and kind of and see, if there's anything common about them and so on. One thing they noticed was those Roofos break the laws of physics, and saying they don't look like they're physical objects, just how the speed or the angles they turn and so on. And they gave a list of some Roofos, like Roofos leave no physical artifacts even after crashing. They generate no sonic booms when they break the sound barrier and show no evidence of meeting with air resistance. They may be seen but not photographed, or they may be photographed but not seen. In fact, UFO images may change from the resolution of UFO images may change from one moment to the next. Roofos may be detected by radar but not seen, or they may be seen and not detected. The list goes on, but they're basically saying they're not physical objects. So then it gives some more characteristics. Roofos favor certain times and locales. So a lot of times someone will see it. Maybe they're on a dark road by themselves and see it. Roofos keep pace with human technology and science fiction. I thought this was interesting. The people that witness it just describe it as just a little more advanced than we are. They also, the ones that have contact with them, it changes. Like before, like there was a story 200 years ago that someone had a psychic contact before there was even idea of spacecraft and all. Their psychic contact from someone from another planet. And then in the 40s, 50s, 60s, the people that had supposed contact would say, they're from Mars or Venus. But then as science has advanced, and we're seeing like Mars is lifeless and Venus, now they're saying, oh, they're far across the galaxy or universe, or now even into another dimension. And then Roofos seem to have always been around, and they talk about, strange things in the sky people have seen. And then Roofos make repeat visits to certain witnesses and sites. Roofos visit a select few. So, I mean, there's tons of people looking in the sky. So if there was actually something there, there would be a lot of people seeing it, but usually it's like one person seeing it. Um, and then, let me see. Roofos appear to be alive. Roofos arouse disturbing emotions. It can cause people harm, psychological, and then Roofos cause bodily and psychological harm. And Roofos deceive their human contacts. So then they ask what the culprit is. The Christian perspective that Hugh Ross gives is the conclusion they are demons. They're spiritual beings that can break the laws of physics. They try to deceive you, and only a few people see it, and make contact with them. A lot of times, the people that do, they're invested in New Age, the occult, spiritualism, or someone near them is. That's they found like a lot of those sightings are. And they talk about abductees and so on, but they appeal to be like almost spiritual, in it like a spiritual dimension where they can break the laws of physics, just appear to certain people, and then the ones that have had contact with them, they usually pervert Christianity, saying, oh, like it's not true, like Jesus was an alien, or this is the true path to enlightenment, and so on. So and then it talks about like putting on the full armor of God, like reading the Bible, praying, and all that. And then it talks about cults like Heaven's Gate, all those people that committed suicide because they thought they would join with the alien ship behind a comet, and so on. But I thought it was interesting that the actual ones that they can't explain break the laws of physics, and they don't seem to be physical objects, and they only appear to certain people, and if they do have contact, they're like deceiving, and a lot of them do, like physical harm, like people have nightmares about it, and so on, like they're not good beings, and so on. But this was a fun book to read, just to find out the thoughts of Hugh Ross on aliens and so on, and then from a Christian perspective as well. So this is the book Lights in the Sky and Little Green Men. Thanks, everyone. Goodbye. God bless.